Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it might be for you. It's 6 a.m. here, but that's okay because I could not be more excited to bring you this Super Meat Boy Forever action. My name is Chani24. I'm from the great state of Oregon in the United States, and I happen to be pretty good at this game. But that's not what's important. What's important is that we've assembled some of the finest Meat Boy players from all over the world to present a random seed any percent race. Speaking of which, I'm joined all the way from Sydney, Australia by my incredible co-commentator, Sandshark.
You are too kind, Tony. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. My name is Sandshark, and as Tony said, this will be a fantastic Super Meat Boy Forever random seed, any percent race. But our race wouldn't be set without our runners, who I will quickly introduce, starting on the left-hand side. We have the runner who is currently the world record holder in random seed any percent. He has been a dominating force in Super Meat Boy Forever, having the honor of holding the world record for the longest amount of time. He's a notorious skip finder and has arguably the largest knowledge bank of skips in the category. He hails from Quebec, Canada. Give it up for Insane!
Hello.
But his challenger is currently sitting on 4th place in random seed any percent. He is notorious for being a daredevil, often going for skips that nobody else would dare to touch. He hails from Mazovia, Poland. Give it up for Arfinde!
Hello. Glad to be here.
Great to have you both here. So we'll explain a little bit more how the seeds work as we dive in, but I'm going to cue the runners in so we can get this race started. It's counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go! So, heading into the first world here, we have Chipper Grove. So, Super Meat Boy Forever consists of 5 main worlds, and in 8%, you need to clear 4 out of the 6 of them to defeat the final boss. By defeating the final boss of the world, you then go to the next world. So, we both see both runners, as I said, heading into Chipper Grove here, Tony.
Yeah, so in Chipper Grove, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's just, you're dodging saws, you're dodging bugs. So I figured I'll introduce our runners just a little bit now that we've got the time. So we've got Insane, who, like Sandshark has mentioned, has been the dominating force in random seed 90%, really all the random seed categories. He has had the world record for random seed for an extremely long amount of time. Anytime anyone takes the record from him, he goes on a feverish grind and takes it right back. And then we have Arfinde, who has been somewhat of a random seed specialist. He does have some set seed times, but he's never had the world record in random seed. But only 4 people have ever gone under 19 minutes in this game, and Arfinde is one of those people. He was the 3rd person ever to do it, and so this is a very strong race between 2 very strong runners, and so it really could go either way.
And right now, they're pretty much neck and neck, but I'll quickly explain what we mean by random seeds. So essentially, Super Meat Boy Forever is a randomized game, so you get a seed at the beginning of the game, and each seed gives each level, basically each level has a pool of 70 to 100 chunks, and each seed will pool about 5 chunks to form a level. So the runners will be maybe familiar with the chunks, but not level structure, so they'll be doing a lot of on-the-fly analysis here, and we may actually see some routing changes coming up, but we'll explain it as we get to it. But a bit more about the movement, Shawnee. They're doing this thing that we call quick dashing.
Yeah, so quick dashing, you'll see that they're dashing, punching really low to the ground. The game is an auto runner, and so Meat Boy just runs forward on his own, but he does have this punch that he can do. Oh, good strategy by Arfinde there. Insane does the same thing. But basically, you punch as much as you can because it's faster than just running.
Yep, so we'll be seeing that more now into 1-3, looks like, or 1-4. I think I'm losing track. Oh, right now it's definitely 1-4. Yep, so this is the last level here they got to do because Chipper Grove is, well, in Chipper Grove, because it's really a basic one. Just basically got to face away from these saws. And while we're finishing Chipper Grove, we might have time to squeeze in just one quick donation before we get to the boss.
Absolutely. We've got $100 from Sandra D. Rivas, who says, I'm really excited about the Super Meat Boy Forever speedrun. As one of the animators on the game, it's such an honor to see it as part of such an incredible event. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much. But now we're heading now to the final boss. Both runners still neck and neck. First boss is called Big Slugger, who is the big brother of Little Slugger from the first Super Meat Boy. Essentially, Dr. Fetus is controlling Big Slugger and will try and slam these chainsaw arms down on you, but it's a very set movement. There is no RNG to the fight, so you got to do some very specific jumps, destroy all these red lights, and both runners do it relatively quickly. Arfinde is just ahead, though, at this point in time.
Yeah, just a slight lead for Arfinde. So the top left button that they have to hit is the scariest one, so I'm sure both runners are very happy they both made it through without dying.
In the next world, Shawnee, this is the clinic. So the clinic, first thing you see here are these shards of needles. If you spend too long of them, you see that red ring that forms around Meat Boy. If that goes fully red, Meat Boy will die. So you really cannot spend too long in here. And it can be a bit of a headache, especially for new runners.
Yeah, so this level is kind of the first one where it really stresses your chunk knowledge. So if you don't know exactly how the chunks work, you will die because these damage over time spikes require you to move in a very precise way. And so in Random Seed, kind of the theme is, are you able to recognize the chunk that gets thrown at you immediately and know what to do? And so this is kind of the first one that really stresses that for runners.
Both runners still doing a really good job. They're heading up to tag Bandage, sorry, not Bandage Girl, Nugget at the end. So now we're going to see they're going to go into 2-2. So this is the first bit of routing deviation that we see.
So both runners are doing 2-2, but what you saw is they both exited to the menu there, and what they were doing was they were checking the A+ time. And so because of the random generation, we don't actually know at the time of the run which levels are the fastest. And so one way we try to mitigate that is by checking levels before we enter them. There's a few like alternative routes that you can do, but both players saw a good A+ time, which you can see in the top left. It's 45 for this level, and that's very good for this level. And so both players decided to do it.
Yeah, seems to be the more best strategy here. But both getting in, still really neck and neck at this point. Arfinde taking an ever so slight lead, heading now into 2-3. Introduces these little purple monsters. These things are called beatuses. They will essentially suck Meat Boy in if you get some proximity. You need to punch 3 times to escape the beatus. If not, the beatus will float towards an obstacle and it will die and you will die. So, like the original Super Meat Boy, a lot of things in this game can kill you.
Yeah, so both runners I don't think have died yet, which is why they're still extremely close, and that's great. So this is the start of Clinic is kind of where you would start to see death. Most people make it through. Most of the top runners make it through Chipper without deaths, but both players playing extremely well and neck and neck.
So Insane, just the slightest lead now to, I believe, the last level we're going to do, which is yes 2-4. Another bit of a part-time check there. Have these shards of glass that essentially punch them, you break them, but they introduce a little bit of lag frame time, so you'll actually be seeing both runners trying to avoid punching glass where they can. And as you see, the mechanics just stack, so it's not like you'll see one mechanic in one level, won't see it again. Things keep stacking and get more complicated as the game goes on, but both runners still maintaining pretty neck and neck pace here.
Yeah, and both runners are both doing the same optimizations here.
Arfinde had to double back there.
Oh, bummer. Yeah. So that was like the first kind of deviation, I feel like, where Insane got a little bit of a faster strategy, but it's still just so close.
Very close. Insane just traversing through the last one here. And still Deathless at this point, taking about a 2-second lead here, but we are now heading into the next boss. And this one is the Manipulator, essentially a sentient brain that controls shards of glass. Meat Boy has to jump through the hole in each shard of glass and then punch the switch to expose the brain and get some punches in, but the blast punch you can get a boost off of, and that allows us to negate one shard of glass in the next phase. So that saves around 5-10 seconds all up throughout the boss, so we just do that a couple times. Get a boost punch at the end.
Here we go, see if they get through cleanly. Both runners deathless through Clinic is great. So for perspective, I don't think any of these runners or any of the top runners have ever had a deathless random seed run. And so this is, like I mentioned before, they have not seen this seed. Sandshark and I know it so that we can aid in our commentary, but this is essentially random to them.
Yeah, so now we are heading into the next world, though. This is called Tetanusville, or as we like to call it, Resetnusville, and for good reason. Would you like to explain more, Johnny?
Yeah, so in Random Seed especially, Resetnusville, good turnaround there, that early turnaround for both of them.
Both runners get it.
Yeah, so this is kind of where the RNG in the run really starts to pick up. So the level times get more variable. So it's not uncommon from this point in the run for your runs just to be killed because of your levels were slow. And then there's another facet, which I'll let you explain.
Yep. And also there are a lot of very just long and difficult chunks in Tetanusville overall. So if you die near the end of a chunk, you got to start all the way at the beginning. The chunks can often be 10 to 20 seconds long. So deaths in these chunks can be very costly. But again, both of these runners are doing extremely well. Deathless and neck up to this point, both opting to go for 3-2. Another quick turnaround they do here by catching the key, then jumping back through half the maze instead of going through the rest of it, which turns out to be a little bit faster. Quick dive through there. Talking a lot here. So another mechanic here, you see these little beetle things. These things are called beetle bros. And essentially by punching a beetle bro, it'll curl up, and then you can use the beetle bro to break through wood blocks to get through certain parts of the level.
Yeah, so what's interesting here is that actually Arfinde decided to go into 3-4, and so that'll be interesting to see how it winds up. They're both going to go on to the same next level, which will be 3-5, but we have a slight deviation, and that's that, you know, the A+ time checking, where both of them exited the level to check the A+ time on 3-2. Insane really likes 3-2, and so even though the A+ time was a little bit long, he still decided to go with it, and then Arfinde saw that and said, no, I'm going to 3-4.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We only really see what difference it makes when they both get to the boss, but still very close at this point. Insane completing the level first.
Oh, that was too complicated to explain, but Arfinde did a blue box clip, which is very, very cool.
Yep, so heading now to the next one here. Insane is now on 3-5, which introduces these hooks that essentially pull Meat Boy up when he touches them. And you can press A to jump off of them. Sometimes there's obstacles at the top, so you might need to jump off early. There's a few quick turnarounds you can do with these as well. But with the variations in amount of chunks, some are better than others. Oh, I get a very quick one there. Oh, not really.
Yeah, so in hooks, this level, you're going to see one developer intended skip on Insane screen there, where you use the Beetle Bro to break the block. A lot of the skips in here are very early in the chunk, and so it's very important to have your chunk recognition on point so that you can quickly recognize the skip. So here's another one you're going to see right here. Insane, he's going to drop down immediately, which is very impressive to recognize that, because, let me repeat, he does not know what's coming. So he immediately recognized he needed to dive down there.
Arfinde was unfortunate. He tried to do the same skip as Arfinde, but unfortunately caught the edge of the... It's a very precise jump there, caught the edge of the spikes, but... So right now we have 5... Sorry, not 5. Thinking too far forward. This is 3-6. And 3-6 has these... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, no worries. So introduces these electric beams here and getting caught in one of the cycles that always fire on a fixed cycle. So because you can't really freely move Meat Boy around, you have to kind of stop against a wall to get for the right cycle. There's a few skips you can do here, but ultimately it's a bit of a game of patience and noticing where your opportunities are here.
Yeah, so here's a good skip from Insane right here. He's gonna, instead of going up to get the key, he's just gonna hop around the top, and that saves quite a bit of time. He did a skip earlier where the one he died on a few times, that was extremely impressive, where he got a really early cycle on the lasers.
And this is actually, I believe they're on the last one before they unlock the boss, and Insane's now coming out with quite a bigger lead here. Down into the next boss. This one's called the Lab Guardian, who guards the lab. A lot to explain, a little bit of time, but essentially you need to punch these Beetle Bros out of these tubes to expose and get rid of the shield of the Lab Guardian. Get a few punches in, and then do a few specific jumps. Oh, I think this is the cycle. I was able to do a recovery there. To do the boss in 2 cycles instead of 3, but I think Insane might have to fall back and do the safe strat there.
Yeah, so if Arfinde is able to get the 2-cycle strategy on this boss, then he's going to make up quite a bit of time here, because Insane slightly messed up the difficult 2-cycle.
Yeah, luckily with the Lab Guardian, there are a lot of fallback cycles, but it is really best to get the 2-cycle in, and we'll just keep an eye on Arfinde and see if he does it. But Insane is now into the lab, which is where things start to get very difficult. First mechanic you see are these orbs. Essentially, if you touch the orbs, you will die. So you need to punch them to get rid of them, but if you punch them initially at first, they will form few little orbs around you, and by punching again, that'll give you a Hadouken, or like a Mega Punch. It'll break, blocks. Again, a lot to remember, but they follow you in very weird arcs, so it is just very essential to make sure that you see them coming and use their punch when required. And I think, was Arfinde, how did he go on that boss there?
Arfinde had a perfectly clean 2-cycle, so he made up a little bit of time there.
That's good. But yeah, these orbs are really annoying, aren't they, Choni?
Oh yeah, so these orbs, they move so strangely, so if you move too fast or too slowly, or you jump not quite in the right way, the orbs will just move in a weird way and you'll die. So it's very difficult. This level is very difficult, and you're seeing Arfinde struggle on it just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Insane's made it through fairly clean, and he's moving on to what will probably be 4-3.
Yep, so 4-3 introduces these things called appear blocks. Yeah, he's just scouted that time there, 51 seconds. So these appear blocks, essentially, they will appear when Meat Boy comes past them, and then you can jump back on them. There's a few little turnarounds you can do with them here, but for the most part, you just need to follow their guide.
Yeah, there's going to be one pretty precise skip that I want to highlight in this particular level. So it should be coming up, I think, towards the middle end. So we want to make sure we highlight that when it comes up. We'll see. I think Insane goes for it. I know that Arfinde will.
Goes. Arfinde's just getting out.
Here it is. He's going for it. Very precise. Oh, it's very difficult to make the jump off of right before the laser, but below the ball. Great job. Second try. That's very impressive.
Yep, second try is lucky, and that still saves time. It's ultra precise because that orb there just does not want to follow you very nicely. So gets through that, still ends up saving quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, that's not a bad skip to get second try for sure.
Yep, so right, so now we're into 4. Introduces these power-up crystals. These power-up crystals, essentially, if you punch them, it'll give you a power-up, and by punching in midair with that power-up, the yellow one will give you a reversal jump, which allows you to reverse direction, and the purple one, which is an uppercut, will get, and just misses the punch there, unfortunately. It's a very specific jump, and the purple one will give you like a uppercut, and that's a really nice skip there from Insane.
Yep, and Arfinde also got the precise 4-3 skip on the first try.
Oh, good job, Arfinde. Allowed him to catch up a little bit more time here. Now using the power plus crystals to climb up the wall. And
so
just navigating.
The next 2 chunks, we're going to see an interesting skip by Insane here. He's going to double back so he can grab that power up early. And on this one, he's also going to do some creative wall jumps to avoid having to do a lot of the chunk. So, he misses the second one. You can actually jump off that before the reverse block, but still got half of the skip, so still save time.
The thing is with these blocks is that they're very specific, and with the change of movements, it just can kind of throw you off your game a little bit, so you just need to be mindful of how Meat Boy will exactly move. But now Insane heading into 4-6 introduces these green teleport orbs, essentially like the power-up crystal. When you punch it, it'll give you a little blue silhouette, and by punching in mid-air with it, it'll teleport you to the location of the silhouette.
Yep, and just to check back on Arfinde, he did get the full skip that Insane messed up the second half of, so he's about 15 seconds behind. Very close, and we should be able to see how it comes together at the end. A roof hop from Insane.
And still able to do it without. Wow, that was incredible roof hop there. So, yeah, we wouldn't actually predict to see this in a race, but essentially there's certain chunks where you can use certain mechanics to jump on the roof and potentially infinitely jump on the roof of chunks to just skip a crazy amount of time. And Insane gets that in a race setting. That was incredible.
Yeah, that's I think that's a roof hop. Insane knows a lot of roof hops that a lot of people don't know, just because he has such a good chunk knowledge from all the randoms practice. And so that's a weird one. That's one I don't see anyone else go for.
Yeah, it's very good though, and it's still a pretty close race, so especially the last world, anything can happen. But now we are on. Insane is onto the boss of the lab. It's not just one Dr. Fetus, it is a lot of Dr. Fetuses. So we need to grab the uppercut crystal to punch Dr. Fetus at a place we'll know he'll be and get a chain punch until he despawns and repeat that 3 times. It is possible to do 2 cycle here. We may see Arfinde go for it, but Insane is opting to be safe by just going for the safe strat.
Yeah, I know. So because Insane is a random seed player, he values the consistency. So I find he often doesn't go for the 2 cycle because it is very difficult. Arfinde, being the skip daredevil he is, I believe will go for a 2 cycle here, but I could be proven wrong if he just wants to play it safe. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on Arfinde here. He's going for the pause strategy. So basically, he can squeeze in extra punches to try to do Fetus in 2 cycles. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go into 5-1.
Yep, this is the last world. This is called the other side, and the first thing you saw him jumping on was these spike blocks. Essentially, they will become spiky after standing them for 1 second, so we can't spend too long on them. We also have black holes that will suck Meat Boy in if he gets within the vicinity of them, and then you can change your direction and then press jump to blast out of them at incredible speed. You can also get a few Hadouken punches out of those to break blocks, but there are quite a few skips in this level that we often see a lot of runners going for, especially in random seed.
Here's one right here. Gets the early turnaround. Beautiful. He misses up the easy part at the end there. That's a long death. That gives Arfinde some breathing room to catch up, especially since he got the 2 cycle perfectly. So Arfinde's playing well.
You gotta dive down at just the right time there, and fortunately didn't get the first try, but that's all right. Quick recovery. Still around only 15 seconds difference here. But now we're heading
breathing down his neck for sure.
Definitely. Now we're on to 5-2. Introduces 2 things. First one is called the Thwump. These big blocks that will slam down you at incredible speeds. So to slow them down, you need to punch these Time Master crystals, and their slowdown effect does stack. So you need to kind of punch chains with them to slow down time to avoid them. But there are a few little skips you can do, and there's a thing we call the haircut skip that we'll be seeing a little bit later.
Yeah.
We'll just see how it...
Haircut skip is one of my favorite skips, I think just because of the name, but also it just looks so cool. You'll see it. What he's going to do is he's going to do a quick dive to dodge the thwump without slow-mo. So I think it's the next chunk here. Here it is, right here. Look at that.
He gets it!
Beautiful. First try. It was beautiful.
So that skips half of the intended chunk there, and it saves at least 10 seconds. And going for another quick dive down here as well. Oh.
This one's hard to do. There we go. Nice.
Oh, he gets it as well. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, first try on the haircut, when you I guess he could hear our commentary, so he might know it's coming. But first try is still very difficult.
Now we're on 5-3, introduces these little blocks, and these are called Waliolios. So these Waliolios, they basically blocks where if you punch them, they will infinitely spawn in the direction that you punch them, and they'll despawn shortly thereafter. Now, Waliolios are special because these were named by the son of Tommy Reffinus, who is the head developer of Super Meat Boy Forever. So the cute little name, and their mechanics are pretty cool as well.
Yeah, there's a few skips that you can see. There's one very notable chunk called the 5-3 skip, and it's a chunk unlike any other in the game that allows you to skip the whole level. Tough Death from Insane there. This is an interesting strategy. I've never seen that strategy before.
He actually skips the Waliolio, and he just dives straight down. That's great, and does a quick turnaround here as well.
This one too, he dives through down there low, and then he gets the wall turnaround. So beautiful play by Insane.
Friend is still hot on the heels, around 20 seconds behind. Anything could happen, especially at this last level. It introduces these things called switch blocks. Essentially, the green ones, if you jump, the green ones will appear and disappear. And if you dive, the purple ones will appear and disappear. And especially at the end of a random seed run, your hands are sweating. And this is just a whole jigsaw puzzle within a game, and it's very mind-melting.
Yeah, it's a brutal level to have be the last level in the run because it's very puzzle-like and very stressful. And so if you aren't totally comfortable while you're nervous on PB pace, it's very difficult. The last chunk after this one that Insane is on, you're going to see is very difficult, and it takes a good while for people to understand how it works. So here you go. You're going to see him go through it now, where it's just this maze of toggle blocks, and he goes through so perfectly.
So at this point, one level ahead, and we have Insane now finishing off 5-4 and heading into the last boss. We'll still keep an eye on Arfinde. This boss is Omega Alpha, 2 purple crystal hands that will try and chase you and smash you to pieces. Introduces this mechanic, which is called a block spawner. Now, what we're supposed to do with the block spawner is punch within silhouettes to trap these Omega Alpha hands, but we can actually place them, spawn them at specific points to skip a lot of the intended damage we're supposed to give to the boss. But it also saves a lot of time. We can make the damage up a little bit later. So skips both. We call them box skips. He gets both. It's a lot to explain in a little bit. Waits here on the wall a little bit to get the last one. He does.
Nice.
So,
yeah, that's pretty difficult.
It is very difficult, but yeah, he's on really good pace here. But this boss as well has got quite a few tricky skips here. Dives straight down. You need the button mash a lot to make up for the damage he didn't do earlier. It gets almost basically all of it in. Then it blasts down. And time's going to come up for Insane on the very last punch of the hand when it starts exploding. So there'll be one set of punches and the last punch. So one last dive here. Is he able to do it? Gets a bunch of button mashing in. Hits the wall. And time for Insane. That's incredible. 1830... It was 1830.
Yeah,
wow,
1830. That's amazing.
That was incredible.
The seed is incredible.
That was. He lived up to his name. It was insane. And Arfinde, fortunately, is able to come up the walls. Able to just save that there. We'll just see what how Arfinde goes here. Unfortunate death there on the last point there, but the in-game time there was 18 minutes 31 seconds for Insane. Congratulations. So that was especially getting a sub 19 in a race setting and quite a few skips that we haven't even seen. Insane's been putting in a lot of practice, so congratulations to coming first. We have approximately 30 seconds left on this race here for Arfinde just to finish up. So maybe while we're waiting for that, we can get a donation in.
Absolutely. We've got $30 from Mom6226. Has to donate for Super Meat Boy. Congratulations on reaching $1.5 million for Doctors Without Borders so far. Thanks to all the gamers and the Games Done Quick organization for this great event. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Arfinde is working his way through this last boss here. That last jump that he just did right there, that's the hardest part in the run. Not the hardest part in the run, but the hardest part of that boss. And it is, when you're on a good pace, is a major place to choke, for sure. Because you have to like stall to set it up correctly. And when you're nervous, trying to go slow when you're in a hurry is very difficult. But yeah, we're going to see Arfinde's played very well. He got both of the hard boss strategies that Insane did not get. So here we go. Here's
time's coming up.
Arfinde, beautiful.
Yeah.
2010 something.
Yeah, Arfinde did a very good job as well. So congratulations to both runners, but Insane does come out as a victor here. And thank you so much, GDQ, for having us on. I've had an absolute blast playing this game, and if you're interested in running Super Meat Boy Forever, we do have a Discord. Be sure to go to speedrun.com/SMBF and check out the leaderboards and Discord there. And especially with the random seed category, every one round will bring something different. I also want to thank you very much, Tony, for being my co-commentator. It's been a multinational effort to get all this going together. So thank you so much, SGDQ, for having us on. Enjoy the rest of the event. And Tony, do you have any last words?
I think I'll be brief, but thank you so much for including us in GDQ. We were all just so excited to get to show off this great game that we like.
Yep, I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. And